How you doing, Don?
I'm doing good. How y'all doing? We up and running. Thank y'all for joining us for another episode of Dominique the Podcast. Me and G, my co-host Gerard Guillory. We got our guests coming in. Shout out to Mark Nash and Walter Miller for joining us here. You are greatly appreciated. We
Yes.
here every Wednesday, like I told you, bringing the funny, bringing the real. We might laugh, we might cry, but we ain't gonna lie. That's the thing we ain't gonna do. So I'm gonna bring one of my guests in. She already here. Mel, what's going on, Mel?
Hey, you guys, how y'all doing? Hey, Dominique.
Hey, you know this
Right.
guest. She don't really need no introduction. You know, the
All right.
legendary, the very hilarious, good friend of mine, legend in this game. You understand me? Y'all give it up for the one and only Melanie Comarcho.
Hey, how you guys? Hey, look, we got Mr. Guillory is in my film. But hey, Dominique, I tried to get your butt, but you
You
was
did.
busy.
I was busy. When I saw the movie, I said one thing I can't say about Mel. Mel did her thing right. Mel reached out to everybody.
I
Mel was
sure tried to.
But you did, and it was excellent, Mel, and funny.
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you.
It really was.
Yes.
Tell them about your film, though, Mel. Talk about your film.
So, everybody got a dream.
Yes.
And my dream was to do, I had went when I was a kid, I grew up in LA, and when I was probably about 13 years old, one of my mom's friends came over and picked us up and took us over to some guy's house. And it looked like Macy's, his apartment. It had clothes, racks of clothes all over. And it had the tags on it. And he said, half of whatever is on the tag. So we losing our mind. I don't know. I'm 13. I don't know they hot clothes. My
Right.
mom was a law-abiding citizen, so I'm still kind of figuring out how that was. But she went on in there, grabbed her a couple of suits for work, and got us a couple of I think I got some crisscross. What was that gear?
Cross
For
color.
a FUBU. I got a FUBU outfit out of there. So I just wanted to do a movie about boosting, because you might see a little boosting in a movie, but nobody has done a movie about boosting. And I wanted to make
Like
it
that.
funny.
Like that. Yeah.
That's right.
They
Yeah.
different boosters now. They just going rogue now. They
Oh, they
smash and
snatch and
grab.
grabs now.
I mean, they just go in the store with a hammer and break the glass. I said, now I had a god brother that was a booster. I said he did better than that. He used to at least put the tights on and the bell bottoms and go. They in there
Right. And you know
smash
what?
and
They
grab.
still doing that. They still doing that as well. But these millennials, they
They
going for the
messing it
big
up.
stuff. They want the Louis Vuittons, and you got the regular boosters. We trying to get an outfit and some food.
Yeah.
These snatch and grabs, they getting whole jewelry stores and Louis Vuittons.
The
They
I'm
getting
trying to
shit that's
tell
gonna have you
you.
go to jail for a long time.
Do
Yeah,
you
they
remember if you watch the Italian mafia movies? Remember they would go and hijack the truck, right? They would
Right.
they
yeah,
would
yeah, right,
point a
right,
pistol
right.
at the truck driver, give him $20, and tell him call a cab, and then just take the whole truck. But these young
Man,
folk are getting the whole truck in individual pieces.
But they running up in the Nordstroms and everywhere with
Crazy,
just a
everywhere.
sledgehammer and a mask on. Now, one
crazy.
thing I can say about them, and this might, I'm trying to tell you, this probably gonna sound crazy, but they ain't killing nobody. They stealing, but
Not yet.
they ain't
Right.
going up in this shooting. They hopefully they won't.
I'm praying they
If
don't.
you ain't smart enough to get away from flying glass, that's on you.
Man,
Right.
If you
Right.
stand around there, but who got the merchandise? That's who I'm looking for. Where the
man,
mer-
man, I'm trying to still find them guys that got all them $1 million worth of diamonds out. They went to where we never do. It's like crossing the line to go to Beverly Hills and rob, but they've been
Right.
doing it.
Right.
Well,
And it's
they
scary.
take it from the rich, not from the poor, man. We always complain. They got lock and step somewhere.
Man, finally they got it right. Instead
Yeah,
of robbing Payless during the riots,
Right.
you
we
Right.
robbing
just make it
Payless, you can
funny.
go there and
Look,
buy a pair of shoes.
you gotta get these people disclaimers. We just teasing. This ain't nobody really. We ain't for stealing. Okay, but
Oh
I'm
no,
just
we just joking around. This is
yeah,
a comedy podcast.
yeah,
But
But
I'm telling you what the movie is about. So in the
yes,
film, boosters go to jail. I'm not glorifying
yes.
boosting. They go to jail um, and get locked up and everything from
mm,
boosting. So it ain't
They
no,
do.
ooh, this is what I'm gonna do. No, they come up, but they go down as well. I'm throwing a lot of subliminal messages in this film.
That's right.
So you guys go watch it. I promise you're gonna get your laugh on, because I got Earthquake, I got John Witherspoon's last film, AJ Johnson's last film. So no matter what, they can't take that away from me. I got a classic.
Come on.
And I did it by follow your dreams, people, because I ended up doing it. I asked the person I asked last is the person I should have asked first. I messed up. God was the last one I asked, and the only one that helped me, because I reached out to every producer in Hollywood, and I got their cell phone numbers, and they all was like, "Good luck with that."
Well, watch this too, Mel. I think you have and I don't know if you want to share this, but I know that you gained some information and some knowledge from doing this film.
Man.
Yeah. Let the people know about the editing and how you got it. You made it happen.
Man,
you did everything.
I probably cried 3,000 tears making this movie. Mm-hmm. I cried and I cried. I spent about $8,000 on editing. I was not happy. Then COVID hit. After I put all my money, because I was about to go on tour. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go on and put this money towards the editing. And then I'm going to go on and get this money in a minute when this tour starts. And then the country shut down.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh my God, what I'm going to do now? I gave everything to the movie. So now I'm sitting up here with nothing, no money. And I promise you, I might have had $500 because I'm banking on these 5 shows that's coming.
Right.
And oh my God. So what I ended up doing was going to YouTube University, and I suggest anything you want to do. If you can't spell, touch that microphone and say, how do I do this? That's how I turned and edited my own film. I laid the audio, which is synced in every scene. I'm a perfectionist. I'm a Virgo, and I was not gonna let this film come out looking like a Chinese movie where they talking and then the words come in 2 seconds later. Everybody done seen that movie, right?
Yeah.
So this first film and the first anything you do, the first podcast you did, Dominique, it's always a learning experience.
It is.
Learn from whatever that is, so when you keep going, you can get better. That was a problem of mine for years. I didn't like to watch myself on TV because I'm very critical and I'd be down all day. I just saw the Snoop Dogg Messing Around comedy show for the first time yesterday.
Killed it.
You know what? I'm still critical on myself. I hear the negative reviews and I let that get to my head, Dominique. But then I get the reviews from people like you and you guys telling me, oh, it was great, Mel.
Oh, so, you killed it. As usual, though, you always kill it. And the thing I learned from my acting coach, Brian Reese, he told me, Mel, don't ever read the comments. He said it don't matter what. He said, don't ever. But
sometimes I'm having a bad day and those comments make you feel a little better.
But I stopped reading them. This lady tore me up so bad one time. That was
really?
Oh, man. She ate me alive.
What she had to say, Dom? What was she fussing about? Because you funny as hell.
She ain't dig my comedy. You know, comedy is subjective. She ain't like me.
Stop it. Well, she must have been high because your ass is fun.
Thank you, man. But I wasn't for her. And she lit me up and she talked about who is that and what was she doing? I mean, tore me up. I never read another comment ever again. I don't ever read comments. And my acting coach said, don't do it. He said, because all them keyboard bullies gonna do is try to tear you down because they ain't able to do it. They ain't even able to walk up there if they name called. I'm gonna get Mark Prince up in here.
Correct.
Prince, what's going on, Mark? Unmute yourself, brother. You muted. Hey,
what
Mark,
the deal?
What's going on, homeboy? How you doing?
I don't know. I'm in a room full of my favorite people. So
come on, man.
Come on, Mark. Introduce yourself, Mark. Let the people know who you are.
Mark Prince from Washington, D.C., Second T, Northeast. Out here living in L.A., doing comedy and stuff, representing Leimert Park right now. You know, that's what we do. What's up, Dominique? Thank you for having me on your show.
Absolutely.
Hey, Mel, that's my sister over there, and that's my brother up there right there, Gerard.
That's my brother right there. Yes.
So we were talking about, Mel, we were talking about, at first we
Not looking at the comments.
Not looking at the comments. We weren't talking about that, but to catch you up, we talked about Mel's movie. Mel, say the name of the movie. You didn't say the name of the movie.
The movie is Boosters LA, and also Mark Prince is in the film. Absolutely. I tried to grab every comedian in Los Angeles to be a part of this, what I wanted to be a classic film. And I got it done. That was to have a dream and to get it accomplished was, oh God, I cried once Indie Film said, yeah, we want that shit. I was like, oh my God. So, because I was told, I don't care, it's going to be sitting on the shelf. You know how many movies I did, they still ain't put out. And I'm like, times have changed now. Now we got 3,000 streaming avenues for all movies. Right. Mine got picked up by Amazon and Tubi. So blessed.
Absolutely, so yes.
You guys go watch it. It's free on Tubi, so you can go laugh your ass off for free. I promise you. And Misha Lay performs in it as well. So
I went and did mine on Amazon. I said I'm going to support because I was so happy and I was so proud.
Thank you.
Yeah, no question. Girl. I watched it when it first came out. I was so happy. I was so proud. And I was like, Mel called me for this project, but I was working. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, she sure did. She was like, okay, can you do that? I was like, oh, man. And so I was already obligated. Well, I definitely would have been there like everybody else because it's hard. I mean, look at Shirley Ralph. Congratulations to Shirley Ralph.
All these years.
All these years.
If they didn't give it to her, I was going to have a fit.
Yeah, Shirley Ralph. Go ahead.
She gets a neighborhood lifetime achievement award.
She does.
She has been there doing excellent work since I grew up watching Shirley Ralph.
I did too.
Can I? There's the scene in the movie, a piece of the action.
Come on, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, my attention span. Yeah, man, Shirley from the earliest of days. Absolutely.
Right.
Very well deserved, and might I add, very well preserved.
Mm-hmm.
She looks
beautiful.
Like 1970 something, which has to do with the inner self, right? You don't get to be that age looking like that age, being rotten on the inside. So we want to get all of that.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it helps not to do drugs and alcohol as probably stop.
Yeah. She took everything.
I don't know, something about drugs that mess your teeth up. I'd be like, ooh, somebody on drugs. Look at them.
It'll make them joints black as hell over. You can walk a rotten mouth.
Remember that that crack pipe will make that miss. It'll be a missing tooth.
And now they got this fentanyl everybody doing that's killing people.
They ain't doing it. It's doing them.
They thinking they snorting cocaine and it's fentanyl and that shit. Next thing you know,
it's over. I can't even understand how people even being that risky now. You know what I'm saying?
I couldn't understand before.
I don't understand if you know there's something being cut with fentanyl, you still taking that risk.
But they thinking it's theirs ain't. I've been dealing with this guy forever, but you don't know this guy got an attitude at you for some drug deal long time ago, and now you got some money in your pocket, or you don't know what people's objective is. So unless you can make it yourself.
What about when your dealer switches? Guy.
His dealer.
Yeah. He used to be with the Colombians, and now he's with the whatchamacallums, and the pack looks the same, but that ain't Blue Magic. That's not Blue Magic.
But the problem with it is the Columbia sending it to him. It's your dealer though, G, because your dealer the one cutting it. See, the Colombians probably sending it just straight up like it is, pure.
Right.
And that's gonna kill you anyway. But you know what I'm saying? But then they get to cutting it, and
they can make more money.
Right.
And they'll cut it with anything.
And they cut it with anything. They
baby
Drano, fentanyl, whatever.
Baby laxative, baby, what is that stuff? The baby formula or whatever they cut in there.
I don't know how you.
But they say
Mark would know more about that than us.
They say one touch of it. They say if you touch it, it'll kill you.
How about that?
Really?
Yeah, they say like if
you
just
it's almost like the monkey pops.
It's beyond monkeypox. I mean, you die immediately like that. Pretty much that day, that night. Much less if you like ingest it or whatever. It'll take you right out.
So it's worse than that meth. Do y'all remember when they were talking years ago when meth first really came on the scene and people were cooking it in apartment buildings? And they say if you were in the apartment next door and you touched the wall, you would be completely infected, affected by.
You could be
Stop it.
But look, here's a trivia for you. Meth did not just come out not that long ago. Meth actually came about during World War II.
What?
Wow.
The Americans put an embargo on Hitler, so they couldn't get any natural opium. So they made up a synthetic opium, and that synthetic opium is methamphetamine.
Oh.
It's meth. So come to find out, so like when Hitler's planes would crash or whatever, they would go in the cockpit and they would find these little jars or whatever of this stuff, and they analyzed it, whatever, the people, and they found out it was this thing, this methamphetamines. And so if you go back and you look at history, World War II, you would ask yourself, how did the Germans get so far so fast? They was really on foot. Well, he was giving all his soldiers meth. So what I am stating, the entire German Hitler army was actually meth heads. They was on meth.
Wow.
Like no cutting, no chasing, no just bringing some shit up. The whole World War II Hitler army was on meth. So that it's been out for a long time. And that explains a lot.
Did they win the war?
Say it again.
Did they win the war?
They damn near did. They was nuts. They was how Hitler, they was on meth.
Oh, well, maybe we need to get that to our soldiers. Shit.
We already done gave it to us.
See, remember they were messing around smoking heroin. I mean, shooting heroin in Vietnam, which was a problem. Remember those guys over there with all that H.
So
that was a problem.
Wow. I got a quick question. This is just a trivia question for you guys to play with. So we're losing a lot of Black men, 50s, that are dying from natural causes. I mean, David Arnold just recently, and then another guy yesterday. Do anybody think that the vaccines, is this a later on effect? Are we all going to be doing that in a minute? What's your input on that?
What it is? I feel you on that.
I got vaccinated, so I'm trying to see if I need to make arrangements.
What it is?
I feel the same way, because we're hearing of these young people having heart attacks, and in particular in younger men. Women are also having Black men. Women are also having them, but they are surviving them more, and it's manifesting other things in them. But the men are not surviving.
Manifesting other things in women. Yeah,
it's manifesting. It'll show up like you got breast cancer. I had a family member who she felt lumps in her breast, but it all came down to basically it was a reaction to the vaccine. Other things have happened where people have had trouble with their breathing and things, but I don't know if it's everybody. I don't know if it's everybody.
People don't know their health situation. Most people do not go to the doctor unless something hurting them. So you don't know if you got diabetes or heart disease or what when you go take your vaccine.
Remember this too, if you think about, and I certainly don't want to make it seem like everybody doesn't know who their father is, but for the percentage of Black people who don't, remember that's an entire half of your family history you're not sure of.
You better believe it.
If your pops is not around, if your mom is not around, you know that matters. Hereditary medical history does matter. So there's a lot of things that we're up against. If you look at just a lot of things, our food, our eating habits, our rest, the drug use, the alcohol. There's a lot of things that we are
stress.
Up against.
We're up against a lot of stress as well.
Stress
is one of the common denominators in all of these things.
All of
it. We up in a lot of stress. Especially. Go ahead. I'm sorry, G. Go ahead.
And I apologize. I just wanted to tag on. Remember the diet. Our diet. One of my favorite rappers has a line about, we go to the funeral, go to the repast, and eat the exact same meal that killed our loved one. You know what I'm saying? All that high.
It'd be good too, though. Huh?
Yeah, it's absolutely, but it's not good for us. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so we're up against so much, because remember all of that. Remember, Black people die of heart disease, heart failure, and it's like Dom says, they all go back to stress. stress-related things
stress.
that come
All
straight
this
out of
stuff
our
is
diet.
stress
So
related.
We be
you know,
worrying too. How we gonna pay
a
this
lot of
bill? How I'm gonna feed my kids? How we be because we don't have the financial situation that we need to be in, and COVID really destroyed it.
and
Um,
a lot of the stress comes from looking at the internet, looking at
yeah,
what other
Speak on it,
people
other people
Mark.
have
got.
and
Speak on
envying
it.
that of what other people have, because the stress level is reaching our teenage children as well. They looking at what other people are doing and what other people they have, and it causes a inward reaction and an inward stress towards you, your family, your friends.
Absolutely.
So say like a little 13-year-old girl is on there, she see another 13-year-old girl that got a car, but somebody drive her around all the time, but it's her car, her name on it. Okay, that 13-year-old girl can have a reaction such as being angry at her parents because her parents can't get her a car. And you see what I'm saying? Because in a 13-year-old's mind, she could believe that that's for her. And that same make-believe magic is in a lot of adults as well. And it is causing a great deal of strain and stress. Relationship-wise, you can't sit in the bed and flick through your phone next to your significant other for not for too long. I mean, it's going to cause strain and stress.
Right.
So, right, you see what I'm saying? So,
And it
then,
makes people want to hurt you as well, because that's a lot of people are being killed because they're on there showing what they got, and somebody not as fortunate wants it. And so now they're going to find you and
I'm
take
gonna run up in Gerard house and get that lamp. I can see that lamp in the back. I like that lamp.
Let me
I'm
say
coming
this,
for
Mark.
that lamp, son.
I stole that lamp. Go ahead, Don.
Yes, but you know what I also...
You should have been a booster.
That I definitely agree with what you're saying, Mark. Now, this is the question I always had. I came from a generation with parents and even whoever was raising you, if it was your grandmother, your aunts, your uncles, the elders in your life, whoever was bringing you up or whatever, they sold into us. And even in my opinion, with the generation we grew up in, even if we did have social media, the things that they would say to us would let us know it ain't real. You understand? Right. It ain't real. Don't trouble yourself not, because what you're seeing is entertainment and it's not real. You see people taking pictures in front of Rolls Royces and it ain't real. Don't no man drive no Rolls Royce taking no picture in front of it. He working. Right. He got to make money to sustain it. This just crowd chasing for the gram. So is it that the parents are not quite as in tune as they need to be to this, and their children are, becoming, if you will, victims of it?
Our grandparents only had to contend with NBC, ABC, CBS, and maybe some local channels. Our grandparents had to contend with the television went off at 12 midnight and said after the national anthem. So and now the contentions are outside influences as far as mass media is concerned, and they only had to deal with those many, a handful. The cable channels is over 5 billion channels in itself, and then now these internets. Today's parents have more to contend with than any of our ancestors as far as influence is concerned on the children. They have more coming to the children's minds from so many other different angles, and the children have immediate access to it than our grandparents could have ever imagined fighting. So for instance, and I'll stop here, if you saw something on a TV show or whatever, yes, your grandparents and your parents would tell you, yes, but that's not real. But that would be like one TV show. One.
But you don't think that the parents can control what their children
control. No, they can't.
But I
think
you can't. Yeah, but you giving them this.
So you giving them the cell phone.
You giving them this vehicle. Go ahead, G.
Let me just point. I just wanted to point this out real quick. Remember, our grandparents were 65, 70 years old.
That's a thing.
And I think that's a major difference. when your grandmother is 39. And really, you know what I mean? Not even trying to clown them, just we're talking about if your
But that's
grandmother
not always true.
if your grandmother is 39, she had more to deal with than ABC, CBS, and NBC. You know what I mean? Like just how time went on. I remember I wrote the joke in the early 90s about the girl who was 21, but her mama was 33. And it so that time when grandparents became very, very much younger. And so they did not have the amount of wisdom to offer the young person. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I think crack was a big effect on what's happening now, because the kids now, their parents were the crackheads. So they weren't there. They weren't around. That was the age group that all of these people were having these babies that are now our millennials. So they weren't there. These kids have been foster cared. They don't know. They have no manners. They don't know nothing about opening a door for a woman. No, there was nobody there to teach them these things. So that also has an effect. Then they see on social media, because everybody has a phone. And as a parent now, I wish we had the ability to do the things that these parents, you can track your kids now.
Right.
I couldn't do that. I had to get in my car and drive all over LA looking for my daughters. They both had cars. And I'm like, where in the hell are they? You know?
Right.
And you guys can track them on their phone. Oh, that's where he at. I see where you at. When are you coming home? We couldn't do that. We weren't texting. We didn't have internet when my kids were in their teenagers in the 90s, like early 2000s. That's when they were in high school. And you weren't be able to do that then.
And then the kids adapt to the technology better than the parents too. They adapt to it like that.
Right. And as we did, right, Mark, I know you put the VCR together with a butter knife at your house. I know you did that. I know, Mark, as technical as you are today, I know that you were the one who assembled and told, no, turn it to channel 3. When the cable man leave.
No, he was the one that took the cable from next door and ran the line to everybody else's apartment.
I sure did.
Yeah, but real quick, if you remember the movie Anchorman 2, that's where he left the station in San Diego and he went to the very first 24-hour network, which we all know in real life to be CNN. Right, so 24-hour news coverage. Again, we just talked about World War II. I'm sure Mark will give us some more details on this. Propaganda is a huge thing, but it was already perfected before television, right? So they understood it with radio. In the very first wars, when one country invades another one and plants their flag, that flag in that dirt is propaganda. It is so that everybody around there understand that the management has changed in the song and the language and all of that has changed. When you now have 24-hour news coverage and how they beat that into our skulls, especially in the early days, which would be somewhere around the crack era, you know what I mean? Our parents didn't grow up, like you said, ABC, CBS, and NBC, Walter Cronkite, the New York Times, the local paper. If it didn't happen before 5 o'clock, you don't hear about it till tomorrow. And now we just get this barrage. I'm sorry, Dom, go ahead.
But I still believe that the way they the kind of parents that they were and the way that we were raised, I don't care what outlet was over there, out there. My mother was going to be the same Marine sergeant that she was in social media time that she was in the 70s and 80s.
That's right.
I think I think it's a difference in parenting. And
but you know what? Your mom just didn't get caught up with them drugs. So many people got caught up with them drugs. You were blessed. Me too. Right. Thank God.
I understand she didn't get killed. And that's a good thing. And that is a blessing, Mel.
Yes.
I understand that. But I'm talking about everybody's parent, the way these kids going. I know a lot of parents that ain't on no drugs. And they tell you when you ask them about their children, they start talking about things different from when you was growing up. And it's just the way things are. That ain't no damn answer.
But when you know what? They got a point. Because back in the day, we used to get the shit beat out of us and nothing happened. We might got a day off of school the next day, but that's it. Now these kids call 911 when you whoop them with a belt.
Think about this: when we were
that's because they born with a phone.
But hold on one second,
and
Mark.
you
To
didn't
go with
gave
that,
it to them.
When you gave it to them.
When we
ain't
children,
had no phone to call them.
When
if
we
you
were
got
children,
to that phone, when you got to that phone, your mama will cut that cord by the time you dial the next one.
If you even made it that far.
Time out. Y'all are old enough to remember that when we were kids, to call the police was 7 digits.
Yeah.
We were around when they made the 911 be the thing.
Remember,
right. Mama would leave us at home and it'd be a full number, 7. Remember, we didn't even do area code at the time. It'd be 2 numbers, the fire department and the police department. And they were 7 digits. So yeah, you didn't have it. You had more time to play on like you were gonna call somebody, but nobody even ever thought about that.
Right.
And then you can also buy your child a phone that they can't use it. You can make it so they can use it the way you want to use it. I also have a friend who does that to his children. They got cell phones, and even though they say it, they like, oh, my phone don't work like my friends. Well, we'll get there. You know, you will get there once I'm able to. Once I know you able to understand what you're dealing with.
Right.
You know,
but that's what I was saying about.
I think as you can see what they're doing on social media and everything nowadays.
Yeah, as a parent,
but that's what I'm
things.
saying. But y'all talking from a real educated perspective. What I always say about the intelligent ones of us, we are doing ourselves and everybody else a disservice when we believe that people who didn't go and make themselves fucking knowledgeable, fucking smart, should think like we think. We think like we think because we went on the journey to educate ourselves. The people that we are talking about, they have no self-study skills or anything like that. So they won't be on autopilot to do these things for their children. They don't know how to track their children. They don't know how to work their own phones. I'm not saying this to belittle them, but I'm saying that those of us who are thinkers, we do ourselves a disservice thinking that they should think that way. That's not how they're going to think. This is how the system wants it. They gave these smartphones to dumb people for a reason, right? Like when you even look at when the pandemic happened, you notice that the public school systems did one thing right. They ain't never do nothing right. They rolled out all of those laptops to be put in your homes for your children with no problem. Did you notice that there was no problem?
That, absolutely.
And where did the public schools get all this money for these laptops just like that? Where y'all get all this money for these laptops already? They're already programmed too.
Right.
Like that. Did you notice that? And they didn't have a problem because they want you to. Why you think the people on the corner with the phones come out? If you just give us your ID, you get a free. They need you to have this. This shit is way smarter than we will ever be. This thing right here that we hold.
And that's where I interject that. There should be not one dummy in America. Because now we have the technology. You ain't got to call Uncle Fred. You ain't got to call the man down the street to find out. You could ask Google or YouTube any damn thing. So if you don't know how to program your kids' phone,
you still have to know how to be self-taught. The key to it all is the key, but the person has to
self-taught.
Right. That you have to teach a person how to be self-taught or convince them to. Now, if you're not on the trek of being self-taught, I don't care if you slept on the campus of UCLA.
But Mel, what he's saying is
they don't go in there and learn nothing.
What Mark's saying is exactly what you're saying is that he's making, Mel. You self-taught. You know what I'm saying? You had people, you had a mama, you had people to sew into you. Mark is talking about, and I know of these kind of people that, if you will, you can say they're pretty much raised by wolves. That's their mentality. You know what I mean? So they don't have the knowledge to say, let me get into this phone and let me learn this phone and let me do some of these things. You know, you self-taught in a way. Everybody not like that. Their mentality is not like that. You know, you'll see a lot of they can't get there. They give their kids the phone, but they're mental, whatever they've been through, parents crackheads, or they ain't had nobody, been in foster homes. Not all of them. I ain't gonna say all foster parents are bad parents, but a lot of them aren't the best people, and a lot of them don't sow into these kids and treat the kids the way they should be treated. So if you have that mentality, sometimes that thing have you gripped. You just go with the flow. It ain't nothing else you really can do.
I was going to give the analogy, Mark. I think you missed it when we were talking about boosters at the beginning and how they just run in the store and grab stuff. So I'm going to say the first person who kicks the door open and grabs a bunch of Birkin bags and heads for the door, not him, but everyone behind him, is who we're talking about. Like, if you thought you knew what you were doing, you would let them go into the Louis Vuitton and then you'd go to Gucci tomorrow. But if you follow them into the Louis Vuitton shop today, we're talking about you. If you're one of the second through the last one, you're not thinking for yourself. You know what I mean? You cannot think for yourself. You're going to catch the charge that the first dude.
But then again, people, like I said, have to be taught somewhere at a young age to think for self. I look at my son now, who's a grown man, and I listen to the things he thanks me for. And he gave me a thanks. And if I have any advice unsolicited to any parent, give your child the gift of choice, the same gift God gave you, the gift of choice. Let them weigh their decisions in front of you. Like, you could do this, you can go outside right now, but then you come in, you got to do your homework, you can't watch TV.
That's all I'm saying, Mark.
And you give them choice, because my son, at the end of the day, my son said, my friends now as an adult dad, they can't choose between a soup or salad. They can't make a decision. Because when you always tell your kid what to do and you just set it up for your kid, you don't do this, do this, when they become an adult, the world is clueless. The world is full of choices and decisions. And you got to make choices. And if you're never taught that at an early age, how to make choices and decisions, that can hinder you. I see it.
Absolutely. How to make good choices.
Yeah.
That's being aware of consequence either way. Consequence.
That's when you offer them the choice. A lot of parents say, I don't give my kid no choice and no decision. They do it. I say, when they become an adult, then they just gonna do what the police say, right? You give them the choice between consequence or good, and then you let them choose, like, out of the stuff that they want to do, right? And they'll they usually pick the right thing.
And you know what? Sometimes a child will see what you're going through and say, oh, I'm not gonna be like that when I grow up. So that's a choice that they made without the adult helping them, saying make a choice. When they ain't got that adult saying make a choice, sometimes they step up and say, oh, well, I'm not going to be the kind of parent mine. And let me tell a lot of those parents out there, these kids would rather have a hug than a pair of Jordans. Trust and believe. They'd rather have a hug. They'd rather have some love and affection than some material thing.
And we're not bashing parents. I do want to say, all the parents, you're doing the best you can. You're doing the best you can. We just talking some things out, because clearly something is going on where the ball has been dropped on our children. We just lost another young rapper. I don't really know these rappers, because I still listen to old school rappers, but the P&B rapper, it's just like these kids though. And I think where the ball has been dropped a lot is in the common sense area. They gave us a lot of common sense growing up. Common sense not so common anymore. It's no way in the world. And I'll tell you, it's no way in the world you go into somebody else's hood and sit down and eat, and you floss in these times that we're living in. When you already on the internet showing, I don't even understand showing a whole bunch of money to your ear and your phone. These things are just not logical things to do. Why are you doing these things? And it bothers me that there's nobody there to say, that ain't good. You setting what they call it, the young people call it an op. You're setting yourself up to be robbed. And they're gonna kill you, because that's what they on. They don't know how to hit you over your head and take some. He in somebody else's neighborhood, and then somebody else eating. And they said the girlfriend tagged and said where he was.
That's a setup, I think.
And that's what happened. It very well could have been a setup, but the fact of the matter is, why you in somebody else's hood? Now, I'm from Washington, D.C., just like Mark. You know what I'm saying? When I came out here, I knew, even if I was in an urban area, that I wasn't moving in nobody's hood. Because I don't know how you get down in your hood. My whole logic was, if I got to live in the hood, I can't live in Los Angeles. If I got to live in the hood, I'm going to go to D.C. and live in Southeast D.C. where I got some kind of cred at, with my cousin selling drugs. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I grew up in the hood.
And
I ain't never had no problem.
But you
ain't no gang ever tried to be nothing to make me be no gang member
but
or
you
nothing.
was in your own hood though, Mel. People was familiar with you, going to school with you, knowing you, knowing your brothers and sisters, knowing your mama. No, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
You don't come to
from New York.
Why you out here in Compton in the hood? What are you doing?
Trying to show he came to LA and they gave him love in Compton. That's what he thought.
No, so ain't no love out here like that.
Let me show you something. So in DC, we don't have gangs.
No, we don't.
I mean, we got neighborhoods or whatever. You got your neighborhood or whatever, but we don't have gangs, right? And
we tried, Mark. I ain't trying to cut you up, but remember we tried.
I mean, like Little
we had little play,
Gangster Chronicles, but
Gangster Chronicles, Gangster Corn Chips. We had.
I mean, they was
like
real. That. They was, but it's not like.
They wasn't killing you though. They just could fight. They'd beat you up.
I saw an FBI show just on DC.
Yeah.
Nothing like Bloods and Crips though. Like
nothing like
even
that.
Close, right?
Nothing like
and so we don't in DC. We do not emulate. LA
didn't. I don't know now what they do, but we didn't.
We don't.
Wait a minute. Back up.
I don't know what they're doing now, but most of all, I would believe that we still don't, because we just got our own culture. But what I'm saying that to say this, the rest of the country though, they're Bloods and Crips in New York, in Indiana,
right here in
Gary, in Atlanta. You see what I'm trying to say here? Okay, now check this out. It's been glorified. They grew up with it as a way of entertainment, right? And it's been like 20 years. So say a guy did 20 years as a Blood or a Crip in Indiana or Philadelphia, and then he blew up on the internet, he got some money, and now he coming to LA, right? In his mind, he really a Blood or a Crip. In LA, for real, nigga, you not nothing. You're not affiliated for real. You gotta be from here.
Absolutely.
LA.
Yeah, they don't.
Let me ask a question.
So
no drugs. Y'all didn't have no gangs in DC.
No, we
not
just
like Bloods and Crips. We don't
like
Bloods and Crips. Is what
but you guys was the murder capital of the United States.
But that's not what I'm talking about, Mel.
But the thing you gotta. Let me say this, Mark. Let me say this. The thing you gotta understand though, they were selling drugs.
That was drugs.
They were selling drugs, but they were not clicked up as a gang per se.
As gangs,
you know, you had people that you sold. They sold drugs with. They had different little crews. This my crew of drug dealers, and this my crew of whatever. Now we had killers. Don't misunderstand.
We got killers.
But they were not. It was not set up. They weren't claiming neighborhoods. They weren't claiming territory.
Gotcha.
We did not wear colors. We didn't. It wasn't like that for us.
So I see where DC was different, but I see where the rest of the other states. So they start emulating LA gang culture. Well, now they blowing up on the internet. They got money to come to LA. They walking through all the wrong hoods, but you not for real.
Well,
you see what I'm saying here, Mel?
Two dudes
not from their hood.
Real quick though.
Fucked up.
In regard,
and a lot of people. I'm sorry, G. A lot of people don't understand from out of town, Mel, that you understand, and that Mark understands now. He lives here. That Gerard understands with his living in California, and I understand that the gang culture is real. You understand? They don't get that it's a real thing, and you will get hurt. So you on the internet, and you out here gonna get killed. You out here in Indiana playing like you a Crip. It's about 12 of y'all, and y'all terrorizing Butterlick, Indiana, and then you come out here because you done built yourself up and you think you OG Crip killer. No, you not.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Not here.
Not here.
Real quick though, to dude's credit, remember he's not a new artist. Remember that dude was popping and I had to look it up. The song "Every Day We Lit," "Every Day We Lit." That's him and YFN Lucci. I had no idea until yesterday. So he been popping. So he been in and out of LA. Yesterday was not his first trip out there. He's connected on some level. But here's what I recognize again. I'm born and raised in Houston. Spent a lot of time in Atlanta, and I spent all of my time in Los Angeles in Inglewood, right? So what I recognize is line by CeeLo Goody. When we in y'all side of town, we abide by the rules that y'all live by, right? You don't get out and be acting. Don't be the loudest over there. We keep it low. If I see that the colors that y'all wear, y'all know me for 20 some years in LA. You never seen me wearing red because I live right smack dab in the middle of a blood.
I don't wear red or blue. I respect
Bloods
it.
wear red. Bloods wear red.
But I'm saying
red or blue, and I live in the valley.
Because I respect both sides. I'm with you.
I do.
The only time I ever got approached that somebody ever came at me was in the valley.
In the valley?
In the valley. When Alex Thomas was doing Stevie's out there. We had a great old time. The show was great. Everybody was hanging out. And I did something on some show where they gave me this sweater, and I foolishly wore that sweater to that show in the valley. And the dude said it to me like 3 times. I'm like, wait, what'd you say? Like, what? I didn't hear what you said. And on the 3rd time, I'm like, oh, I got in the car and got to step and didn't say bye to nothing to nobody. But yeah, you abide by the rules.
That was that white boy from that gang, the Screaming Eagles. That's what it was. It's Screaming It Vultures.
Yeah, I was like, Vultures. Yeah.
So that I never did it either. Go ahead, G. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say about when again in the crack era, when dudes from the major spaces would take their work to the next town. You see what I'm saying? If LA was where all the crack came, when it got to Sacramento, that was probably some. And let me not be stepping on. Let me come up with some fake cities so I don't sound crazy with the real gangbangers. But how it spread, how the dudes from Cali had a cousin in Flagstaff, Arizona, and so they had a little spot where they were selling out of there, and then it moved around. So now you got this one blood. Y'all remember the show Banging in Little Rock?
Yeah,
HBO special. We were like, they banging in Little Rock. What? But kind of like that. One dude go over there, set up camp, and now the guys who work around that crew, they claim the same thing. But it ain't. You're right. You can't come in from Arkansas and be like, "What's up, OG?"
No.
Yeah, it's like
and that goes
I
to my point.
The Arkansas chapter.
That goes to my point that common sense ain't common.
Right.
You understand? Right. Everybody know that the Crips and the Bloods came from Los Angeles. And I take y'all back to a Def Jam show. I don't know if any of you remember this. In the comic, I really, I came up with him and I respect him. So I ain't gonna say his name. Came to LA when Def Jam was in LA. He couldn't even get his jokes off, and I believe he would have killed. But his only problem was, and I don't know why he was so out of touch. But maybe when you haven't been out here and you ain't been in LA, it will put you in that state. He had on an all red suit, and he wore suits. This was his thing. He had an all red suit on, red daub and all that. He couldn't even get his jokes off. And in that audience, they was quiet. And I looked at how they was looking at him, and they began to say, "You slobbing?" I said, "Oh, this is a problem right here. It's a problem in the gang culture here. It's real." My nephew, he played what you call that game, San Andreas. What you call that? Grand Theft Auto. When he was younger, he came to visit. He gonna tell me, "I want to go to South Central. That's where I be robbing people, right?" So I'm new to the town at that time. He said, "I be robbing people in South Central. Then they caught me in Compton and robbed me." He telling me this off a game.
Right.
He ain't never been there talking about, this way I stuck him up in Compton. My friend, he told me, I said, my nephew want to go to South Central. He said, they ain't going over there. They shooting, and they shooting for real over there.
Right.
It ain't Grand Theft Auto. It's real life auto over there.
Right.
He straight up was talking about where he got robbed. We was riding down Sunset. He talking about I stuck the lady up over there. I said we got to do something about these video games.
Come
He
on.
How
talking
old
about
was he?
maybe 9 or 10.
Gang age.
Yeah, maybe 9 or 10. So
Is
you
that
can't.
gang age? Scary.
If
9?
you
But
ever
that was the
read,
game he was playing.
have you ever
That
read
was the game,
Monster
and
Cody?
they fantasize and they do talk about that. My son
Monster
used to talk
Cody was
about-
11
he used to
with
talk
3
about
bodies.
Tomb Raider. He used to fantasize and talk about Tomb Raider in first person, like it had actually happened, just like you saying.
Like my nephew, yes.
Mhm, mhm.
That's
But
what
we
I'm saying, man.
checked that. We checked that. You know what I'm saying? We
Mhm,
ain't let
mhm.
him keep walking around talking about you ain't get robbed. This a game. This
Yeah,
ain't
and-
reality. This not reality. You go over there when you thought you robbed somebody in South Central, they gonna kill you, nephew.
Right.
And it ain't
To
gonna be
them,
nothing we can
to them, I
do
don't
about
think
it.
they can. I don't think they can cognitively tell the difference between video games and a dream. I think they can still don't know that, like, you know what I mean?
Let me ask
Like,
you this
It's
real
just
quick.
not
Mark, do you think that is happenstance or design?
designed.
Oh, no question. No question.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that
that
was
so
that's
so
worked like just like they intended.
so you know,
The
rest in
power,
peace.
the unbelievable power is to control people, to be able to control people, to be able to control what they think. That's the just below God, right?
Yeah.
And they've been on that for the longest time. So that's what it is.
And if you're able to see it, you're able to see it. If you're not, you just ain't able to
I mean,
recognize.
that's
So
what
you
man
know,
want to do.
that's rest in peace to PNB. And I also feel very bad
Rest in peace,
that
PNB.
that people are unable when they have riches and everything. If you want to wear jewelry and you earned it, you should be able to. If you want to wear a nice car and drive this place, you should be able to. But you also got to recognize if the times we living in, if you are unable to do that, you know, why are you a rapper? And from what you say, G, with good success, why are you over there in Compton? Like, you really, why you over there like that?
When you
Promotion.
especially in
No.
LA, they got the Hollywood sign and the Santa Monica Pier.
So
you know
he's
what I mean?
saying that he from the hood, so he want to go to the hood and post a video of him in the hood in LA at Roscoe's on if he would have walked out of there, he'd have got 100,000 views. If he'd have lived,
See,
he'd have went viral for this rapper being at this spot that he was at. So
watch
that was
this
the
too.
purpose.
Like Dom was saying, you feel bad about that. But when you first opened this up, Dom, you said you were not familiar with him because you listened to old school rap.
I do.
And God bless us, but man, what is the future of a generation that won't have a 55-year-old Big Daddy Kane that's still playing with us on, our favorite rappers from our era are on IG like regular, you know what I mean? Like it's a beautiful thing to scroll through and
We
see
lost
one
a lot of rappers. Come on.
We did lose
Tupac, Biggie, stop.
let's
That's
we're
two,
not
Mel.
we're
They
not
up about
It was more than that.
Mel.
They was just the two biggest.
yeah,
Oh,
and
Jam
big,
Master
We lost
Jay.
a lot more than that.
big L.
but you can't say Jam Master Jay because we was grown when he died.
You see
Oh
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
no, but there's
in our
some
era,
that were
but we
on their
only
way
really
there.
lost. But Mel, have you noticed that we only lost two?
We can't
I don't
compare.
even listen to they rap. We can't compare. They up
You
to
can't
about
compare.
10 at this point.
No.
Flavor
It's
Flav's still here,
way,
son.
it's way more than 10.
It's way
Right.
more than Mel.
Remember,
We lost two.
Many of these
But
young
none
rappers,
of them were on that type of level that died. All of these new boys, they more famous
none
than
of
they
they
own
are.
groups, right?
None of our rappers were really chanting and coercing the word death, right? None of our rappers except Pac, he was kind of like that first generation that started chanting and beckoning is the word I want to use. Death. So these rappers are chanting it, they're beckoning it,
channeling
and it will come to you when you keep calling the nigga.
Remember Big?
And the second part of the question was, what are these young people going to do? Because they're not going to have entertainers around. They going with them, if you haven't noticed.
How about that?
Right?
Yeah.
And I end with this. I started listening to well, first of all, right now, all my favorite rappers are dead. That's sad. All my favorite rappers are dead. But what was the other common denominator? All of them were telling me how to go with where they are now. All of them have songs in their repertoire where it's just basically, come with me. And it's like, no. Like, I'm not chanting your chant. I'm not going where you going. You see what I'm saying?
No, I get it.
That's
Remember,
the
Biggie,
hope anyway.
Biggie was ready to die. And then in
Go
the
ahead.
center of that, right? That was the name of the album. And in the center of that, the success of that and everything that came before. And he wanted.
He said, I can make that happen. You ready to die?
Quest for life.
Right.
But again,
right,
man, you cannot compare the number of rappers and then their level.
You're right.
Their level of popularity is questionable for us too, because we don't know. Remember, I don't know about you guys, but most of the people who are dead, I learn when they tell us rapper so and so killed today. We're like, who the hell was that? And you pull him up. He got 60 million streams last week.
Yeah, I didn't even know who Nipsey Hussle was till he died.
Me either.
I didn't have the foggiest idea.
Nip had been around. Nip had been around for a good minute. He was on.
I know, but I didn't know
familiar with Nipsey.
Because basically, when after Tupac died, you know, when it come to rap and stuff, I gotta be able to understand what you're saying. Not that you couldn't understand Nipsey. Once I started listening to his music, he was an artist that I could understand. But you gotta really be kind of like saying something where you speaking to me in rap. You know, Tupac had a way with words where he could get through. He could be uplifting, like Mark said. Now he could cause some death too, but he also could say things that was uplifting and you know,
dear mama,
keep your head up. You know what I'm saying? And the way he told his stories, I could follow his journey and stuff. So pretty much after Tupac and Biggie
you could relate to it too.
I could relate to it. Pretty much after they died, I was kind of over hip hop. You know, I gave T.I. a chance. I like Jigga, you know what I'm saying? But
you started watching the Isley Brothers. I mean, listening.
I already was an R&B. I wasn't hardcore hip hop anyway, so it wasn't easy to lose me.
I've been
you know what I mean. It wasn't easy to lose me, but I
grew up with Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg here in LA. That was the NWA. That was if you didn't know them, you wasn't cool.
I like NWA.
You wasn't shit.
I like
them niggas was talking about
they bust big
and the
in
police.
DC, Mel. NWA bust out big in DC, Mel. Don't think they?
Yeah, they did.
But
I like DJ Quick.
We love them.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
we loved all of that. I came
and they was talking about killing the police.
See, that's what I was going to say.
They talked about the Batarang. They talked about everything.
Yeah. But we didn't have a Batarang in DC, but we found out what it was. But
let's keep it real. You can't stop it, baby. Batarang.
Right.
Now, here's the thing, though, too. These are the people we qualify as the creators: Ice-T, Ice Cube, NWA, Quick, Scarface, Ghetto Boys, right? That whole now gangster rap is created by gentlemen who are now 50 plus years old and captain of industry. E40 owns all kind of stuff. Ice Cube has the big three and movie companies.
Dr. Dre, billionaire,
are still alive and well. Gangster rap. People who created gangster rap are still standing tall.
And that's Snoop just bought Death Row. Them niggas got it going on.
Come on, Snoop got more commercials than Shaquille O'Neal.
That's all
you want to promote right now.
Right now, Craig Robinson is the commercial king. That nigga.
You
can't cut your TV on without seeing that nigga eating a Pizza Hut or the gang commercial.
Yeah, that's my dude. I love it.
Yo, he's selling insurance. I'm like, nigga, give me one of them commercials.
But in other news, y'all see the Queen that died.
Yeah. Have you heard all the stuff coming out about that?
I knew I had to say that for Mark. I knew Mark was gonna
Beyonce died.
Look, they said the Queen. I said, man, the Queen, man, they riding this lady all over.
Mary J.
They sitting up there talking. Look, they riding this lady from city to city to city in her
Queen Latifah.
Got the audacity to be saying it was unexpected. Ain't no unexpected death in no 96-year-old. What are you talking
the Queen of England.
Is it the Caribbean Queen?
Billy Ocean.
Here's the sad truth: is yes, she is the Caribbean Queen, and that's a problem.
I know she been ready to go. Could you imagine living till 96? You done watched all your family and friends die. You probably the last one living.
She watched more than them die.
She did.
Oh yeah, she watched a whole
Lisa,
bunch of black people die too. Is what I heard.
around the globe. Yeah,
Around the globe. But one thing you can be rest assured of, Prince Charles gonna fuck it all up. Watch.
Oh yes, ma'am.
He's already struggling.
And his ugly wife
has been passed
get the
away. Man, that wife, man, she the crypt keeper. That Camilla looked like the crypt keeper.
She probably got the best coochie ever. She
Ugh.
made him leave Diana for that. I said she got one of them clappers.
Ugh.
Hey, Dominique.
Yeah, Mark.
There is hope for side chicks.
Oh, right. She queen of England now.
Camilla is now the queen. There, side chicks, hang in there. You two could be
royalty.
Side chick queen of England. You could be royalty side chick.
Look
at that. A side chick can make it. She should get an Emmy or something. Do they got like the side chick of the year award? She should get it.
I'm sure they do.
She's
Check
the
who
side
She up there, guess what? She
is the side chick queen. Now, what if okay, so how does this work? If Prince Charles kicked the bucket, she's queen, like for real, right?
So she should already be concocting some kind of poison to teach everybody.
She not the queen.
Well, he just turned. He's the king now.
He's the king now.
She queen.
He became king the day after the queen died.
They got sad looking queen over there, bro.
So
and if he dies, she is queen.
That's what I thought.
If he dies, she becomes the queen.
You sure?
Go Google it.
Okay.
You know what's funny?
And according to Game of Thrones, 3 families with dragons got to come fight Camilla's family.
Hold on. According to the Game of Spades, the side chick has to be the big joker.
Wow.
Like the ace of spades. Like,
she ain't gonna have no problem with that, Mark, because she comes from a family of dragons. You can look at it and see that. So
she do, man.
You call all them cousins. I need y'all. Come on over here.
Smoke gonna come right out of their ear. Fire gonna come out their mouth and their ears with a quickness, Mark.
You better know it.
I think the Kardashians. I think she got to go up against the Kardashians.
Wow.
So, did you guys see anything about Aries online?
I think she about to go to jail. Aries. I think she about to go.
Aries Spears.
She about to get pumped in the butt. I think she.
So he was clowning Lizzo. What happened?
He ran into a bus.
He was talking about Lizzo.
The man asked him
how fat she was. I'm looking at this fat nigga.
He ain't asked him nothing about fat male. That's herein lies the problem. The man asked him, did he like Lizzo music? And this man commenced to saying that Lizzo looked like the shit emoji. He ain't even asked about Lizzo's size. He ain't even asked about Lizzo's size at all. And he went in to commence to talking about, I can't even listen to Lizzo because she looked like the shit emoji and just started disrespecting Lizzo.
Right.
And they did not feel good about that.
Oh no, Lizzo was hot. She mentioned it at her award.
This problem with big women is also the problem that kept big women from being able to be the forefronts in R&B. They always had to take the background and be the background vocalist and this, but they sing way better than that motherfucker on the microphone. But they would never put a big girl out there for years in the lead. They'd be like, oh, people don't want to see you because you're big and da. And I think Lizzo is breaking the door down and whatever the motherfucker.
It wasn't the fact that Lizzo was big that he had the problem with. It was the fact that she's walking around with a thong bikini on at the beach. That's
some
what
people
he
like
talking about.
But
some people do like.
It's not at the beach. I think if she had a thong on at the beach, nobody would say it's a thong on at the lake.
Oh, they saying something. Go follow her page.
But I'm saying
that ain't the first time somebody done exposed the body.
She has a lot of let's just say she has a lot of flesh showing. And that's what they're talking about.
But that's what I'm saying. Not at the beach. I think it's okay at the beach and at the pool. You got to think about this. The Lakers have been on top NBA team the entire time, even when they were in Minnesota. If you've ever been to a Laker game, It's beautiful women everywhere. In 100 years, ain't nobody showed their behind next to the Lakers.
No, nobody
no one has
chose
ever
to
done
put a
that.
camera on those people and show them on news.
You gotta
but this
you gotta be
LA,
on the court.
Naked,
there's only a
naked everywhere.
Mark, there's only at the Staples Center and at every major sporting event, there's only the people courtside seats is the only people who can get a view. And you know, like I know, if Jack Nicholson and everybody's
thong, but Lizzo can't wear a thong, but Aries can wear a thong.
See, I'm not arguing.
No, they can't. Just Beyonce can wear one, but Lizzo.
But I'm saying, where have you seen Beyonce's behind that wasn't at the, you know what I mean, at the Laker game next to the cheerleader?
To me, she an entertainer, and she doing what entertainers do. Entertainers have shock value.
She was at the game,
yes, ma'am.
Especially entertainers.
She causing attention to herself. Yes, ma'am.
That's all she doing. And the only reason it's a problem is because she full figured. That's where he got into a jam. Don't nobody else say nothing else about women that ain't full figure, showing their ass, showing their titties, showing whatever they want to show. She full figure.
She gratifies somebody at home.
She drawing attention to herself.
That's my point.
It just shouldn't even be this ongoing conversation, in my opinion.
Because these chicks run around showing their body parts around LA every day. Paris Hilton get out the car and show her coochie. So whatever, leave the girl alone, man.
Yeah, Kim Kardashian blew up off a sex tape. I mean, what is it? I don't get it.
All of that is valid, but Kim Kardashian
ain't that crazy? I made a sex tape and didn't get but 20 views
at the Laker game.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The Laker game, G, it's showtime, G. It don't matter. It's
for the Laker girls.
But it's still Hollywood.
You ain't seen nobody try to upstage the Laker girls.
So let me ask, Lizzo went there to a Laker game like that or something? What do you?
She was sitting on the side. She was sitting courtside, and she had on these pants and this thong thing where her butt cheeks was out.
And she started dancing at the same time as the world-renowned cheerleading squad known as the Laker Girls.
I ain't going for that either, G.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
name them, G.
I'm just saying context matters.
G,
a big girl at the beach with a bikini on, you're out of your mind to talk about her. She's where she's supposed to be with her ass out. When you're next to an event, nothing but famous people at the Laker game, and you only get to sit on the floor of these games if you got paper or connections. So the only people there, and all these years, Lizzo is not the most famous person to be on the court side, but she's the only ass you've seen.
Right,
because they chose to focus on it.
No, Mark.
Naked women.
Mark.
The cameraman went over there, right?
No, Mark. I'm telling you. You would have seen them because they would have been right next to what you were supposed to be looking at. You would have seen them. They would have shown them. You've been to a Laker game and ain't nothing but stunners in there. Yeah, there's nothing but stunners and famous people. You ain't seen nobody else.
A lot of Laker games, though.
You ain't seen nobody famous.
It's a black girl. It's a big black girl's ass.
That's all it
Honey
is.
Boo Boo and her mama ran around here with their ass out all the time. So
if it would have been a big white woman, it would have been a key moment. Look what she did. That's so. But because she a full figure black woman, it's
that's
an issue. That's the
only. I think it was just because she was interrupting the game with what she had on. That was because it was.
Ain't no interruption, no game. This is a game. It's all entertainment. The game is entertainment. There is no
and that's the entertainment people came to see. They didn't come to see Lizzo shaking around. They came to see the Laker girls and the Lakers, not Lizzo.
I ain't never went to the game to see the Laker girls. I don't know who they are. I never paid.
But there's people there that are there. Their whole family and friends are there to see them. They got tickets and everything. They there to see them.
But
my last 10 games, I went to the Staples Center. I paid to see Lizzo, but she wasn't there. I paid for the Lakers, but I thought Lizzo
But Lizzo, it wasn't like she went out there on the floor, Mel. This girl was at her seat.
She was on the floor.
But she was sitting on the floor. But the girl did the little dance and did what entertainment this generation do.
So she stood in her chair at her seat.
No.
She went out on the floor.
Her seat was on the floor.
So she was in front of the chair, and the cameraman.
So they put the camera on her.
They put the camera on her, and the only reason it's a problem is because it's a full-figure Black woman. Other than that, it wouldn't have been a problem.
Let me ask y'all this though, man. We talk about boosting, we talk about gang banging and murder. Can it be both ways? Can we is there a space for us to do? Can we have decorum and fun frivolity that doesn't matter at all, and have them both at the same time? You know what I'm saying? Like at the same time when we're talking about protecting Black women, and remember, we have so many things on paper as to why Black women need to be protected, right? We fighting to make sure that Black women can have babies and not die on the damn delivery. Like we got real serious issues as to how they need to be protected. And while we standing at a podium trying to make sure that happens, can we actually defend something that is outside of a decorum that doesn't assist where we need the help? You know what I mean? Can it be both ways?
Yeah.
Can we not be boosting and then do something else that goes against, like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't have to do what white society tell us to do, but there has to be a level of decorum at some point. The dope game.
Well,
inside of the dope game, somebody brings a bag.
But I tell you what, a lot of those dope dealers was selling drugs and giving back to the community. They were buying turkeys and so I think it's possible to the Robin Hood thing. It's possible to do both.
What we expect. That's what we expect of them. You come back and do a backpack drive. You pay the rent of the people who can. That's what your job is to do in the community.
I think that the decorum is over when this generation can clearly see that the only thing that has actually been preached at them is decorum, but adults don't keep decorum. The government don't keep the decorum. Nobody keeps true to their word. Everybody robs you. Your insurance company robbed you, or these people, or the police don't try. Everybody trying to take money out of your pocket. So I think this generation is just like, man, let's just walk in there and take it. Everything was taken from us. So why do we always
you owe me?
What I'm saying is, real quick, Mark, if you're gonna walk in and take it, does it behoove you to have your AR-15 out from the parking lot, or do you pull it out when you get inside? Remember, we're talking about taking it so you go home and receive the full value of it, not that you just got to take it. See, it doesn't matter if you took it and you get home.
Did you say behoove?
Behoove. It doesn't behoove you just to steal it to be stealing it if you don't get to benefit your family. If you get caught on the way home because you ran red lights when you didn't have to. Now you're getting pulled over for red light was stolen.
I'll say it like this.
Decorum does like this. It can't be both.
I say it like this. This very same thing already has happened in history, and it happened at the beginning of the Great Depression. They were doing this same thing during the beginning and during the Great Depression. Understand that? And we are re-looping history. So if anything, you want to pay attention to everything that happened during the Great Depression, and then you'll see it play out right now. Now, is it going to change? No, it's going to repeat itself. You just here for the ride through history right now and to stay out the way. But it's going to repeat itself. They was running up in the rich. They were running up in the rich people's homes. They were running up in Beverly Hills. They were running up.
That's what they did to the Jews. They took all that shit.
They were running up on when times got tough. When them babies is crying and there is no reprieve. The people, and it take a good person to do it. They had a job all their life. Everything. They'll pick up that thing.
Now unemployed.
And that's one of the most dangerous criminals is the ones that's turning into criminals. Right. There was never a criminal before.
Right.
The criminals that are desperate are the most dangerous.
What I'm saying is, I'm not mad at the guy who steals because he feels like he has to. I'm mad at the guy who blasts his music on the way, right? If you selling dope, what you doing with the music blast and blowing a blunt out of the window? You got
a new criminal.
Kilos. That's what
it's a new criminal.
But that's what I'm talking about. It can't be both ways. If you gotta sell cocaine, do what you gotta do, but turn the music down, put your seatbelt on. You can't be driving around with cocaine in the trunk without your seatbelt. I'm talking about
I'm not talking about
don't sell dope. I'm saying don't sell dope without your seatbelt. You're gonna get pulled over on some dumb shit.
See, they watching BMF and all them shows, and they thinking it's real. So if he can do it, I can do it.
I'm talking about across the board. I'm talking about having a tea back on at a basketball game while the rest of us are out here talking about please protect this lady about to have this baby. You know what I'm saying? Can it go both ways? I want everybody to have.
We've beat down into these generations below us that these are not ladies. Remember that our generations have beat down and taught them from their birth that these are not ladies. These are bitches. These are whores. These are blah, blah, blah,
these
blah,
are
blah, 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 blah. That we have not taught them that they are ladies. So that's why they don't see that.
And I agree. And most of that is because we haven't taught men to be gentlemen.
We beat women down. Our generations that we came up with did not talk to y'all that way. Did not talk about y'all like that. The generation before me did not treat y'all like that. Did not.
They wasn't dressing like they do now in the generation before you.
I don't think
now it just come out their mouth like
with the decorum thing, G. I just think that those of us who were raised to have a certain level of morals and decorum, we're going to have them if we choose to have them. And those of us who were not raised in that way, it's just not going to fall through like that unless something life-changing happens, or if they meet somebody, a spouse, or they come along with somebody to meet somebody on their journey in life that say, you know, the way you going about this is some BS. And you can handle this different. Unless that happens.
Or a wake-up call.
Yeah, or a wake-up
program call. Different.
Yeah, unless that happens, it's just they program different. They raised off. We raised, most of us raised off home cooked meals. You're gonna be different raised off McDonald's.
Right.
I say it in the Star Wars term. R2D2, his programming is entirely different from C3PO.
Yeah.
The programmings are entirely so. What man discovered when you were talking about psychology and propaganda earlier, Gerard, is Edward Bernays is the father of that. If y'all want to look it up, there's even a documentary on him. He's the father of propaganda in America. And so what they find out is that when you program it for real of what you want it to think at a very early age, it'll keep doing that person. Like a robot, exactly like you program a computer or a robot. When you program it to do that or do not program it to do certain shit, that is how humans work. And wiser is the man who constructs the system to make you fall into it. And I end with it, I call it a conveyor belt life. Right? You get into life and you get on a certain track and a certain conveyor belt and you stay on it. Right, you know, people who stay in a certain neighborhood all their life, never come outside that neighborhood. There's people from South Central never been to Hollywood at all, ever. Right, so you accept the world that you are given a lot of the time.
Right,
and so that's how people are programmed. And you cannot want more for them than they actually express that they want for themselves. You will beat yourself down, waste your time, and do yourself, and you will hurt yourself because you are projecting on them something that they don't even want to be. You want them to be smarter. You want better for themselves. They don't want, the only person you got to stay on that to the end of days is your children.
Right.
That's it. Right. But when you start doing that in relationships, in friendships, you want them to be better, but they don't want to be better. You're going to waste your time. It's going to backfire on you.
Yeah.
And you going to hurt your own feelings because you are projecting. You're projecting like a projector on them, somebody that they tell you who they are. Right. And
the bottom line is you can't change nobody.
You can't change.
No. I mean, and you know, I know I'm going to something else, but think about it, G, your question, and think about Brett Favre. Brett Favre caught up in a welfare scandal. He worth $100 million.
Was he? I didn't know.
He caught up in a welfare scandal.
Took all that money from welfare, talking about he was going to give some speeches.
Yeah.
Never
Brett Favre did during COVID or what?
It's sometime in the last few years.
Yeah.
And it's just now coming to the surface. I mean, Yeah, but
You
we
caught
It's a
talking about
whole bunch of shit people did a few years ago just now coming to the service. You been on YouTube? I was like, oh Lord.
yeah, history is a bitch. Yeah.
No,
So
watch
you
what
know,
you
this
do.
is
'Cause
when
that
you
shit,
say,
what's done in the dark, come back in the light. That's for damn
Watch
sure.
what
when
you
you talking
did.
come on, you talking about decorum and things you ordered. He worth $100 million. Why would you use welfare funds to build? Talking about you gonna build a volleyball court or something else.
Right. Now,
That's okay. He gonna pay it back.
well,
Like
you
all
know,
them PPP loan people.
well,
Get ready.
he's linked in with those folks. Remember that all of that money came through the government. What most recently came out is a text that he sent where it says the media is not going to be able to find out about this, right? So they knew
Oh
they were
wow.
doing dirt. The thing is
Yeah.
with them, remember, if you know Brett Favre, right, he's a football player. And outside of
Right.
his football suit, we found out in the latter years of his career, he was just a country boy from Mississippi. Remember, his endorsement wasn't Nike or any of that. It was Wrangler, right?
Mm.
And so decorum for them is different than it is for us. You know what I'm saying? When I'm going to give you this sample. You could go to court and defend yourself if you want to, but remember, they tell you that's the dude who defends himself is the biggest fool. But I'm going to show you visually. When you walk into a courthouse, there's two tables. At each table is two chairs, and it might be a pitcher of water with two glasses. So the second you walk in there without an attorney, it's an affront to the establishment. They got two of everything in here because you're not playing the game. You're supposed to play the game. Remember, there's the judge, your attorney, and their attorney. And outside of that, remember, they all went to law school. You ain't go to law school. So when you defend yourself, you messing up the money of everybody else who's in cahoots. When you go to court to defend yourself with a Wu-Tang t-shirt on instead of a suit, you look guilty. You see what I'm saying? So it's
Who
one
did
thing if you
that?
every day is some dudes in court. I say it all the time. The dudes who spend the most time in the funeral home and in the courthouse don't have a suit to wear. People be in there on murder charges with a I went to Disneyland t-shirt on. You saw the guy who was in jail for stealing a Miami Dolphins jersey and had it on while while he was defending himself.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? So you have
This
to
is
look
Jersey
the part.
question, Your Honor.
When we don't look the part, we stand out. When Brett Favre is just a country boy redneck from Mississippi. He don't have to do much more, right? That's why it's okay. I'm gonna tell you about the dean of admission of MIT, one of the greatest universities in this country, had worked there for 20 years determining who could get in and who couldn't before they found out her ass ain't graduate college. See, when you're white, they don't even, you could say you went to Harvard, they don't even run it through. I bet you if Mark Prince put on that he went to Harvard, they would know in 15 minutes that he didn't go there because they're going to check his paperwork. They're not going to check a white dude who looked like he went to Harvard. So that's what I'm saying.
Remember the white
that
lady
goes back.
the white lady that was the head of the NAACP?
Come on.
Rachel Dolezal. But that goes back to what you said, G. So when you say, are we ever going to get back to this decorum thing? That example you just explained, well, why would we? It don't matter for us one way or the other. You can go back to the civil rights movement. You know, and I'm just saying this is a lot of people's logic. I'm a person that believes there should be
Dominique. I feel
decorum. You can go to the civil rights movement. They had on suits.
And still caught hell.
Caught hell. So I think after a point of people get weary, you know, and if they get weary and they say, I mean,
they lose hope.
Yeah, you why should I have any decorum? Even when I got decorum and I'm doing the right thing, my results still the same.
What I'm saying is what I'm saying very clearly. I'm saying when we're doing the wrong thing is when decorum matters. That's why I brought up if you got a trunk full of cocaine, you might want to get the regular sedan and not drive the dunk with the 55-inch rims with the 5,000 pounds of music.
Correct.
Let's put both hands on the steering wheel. How you driving across country?
I usually get a white woman
in the trunk,
blowing up. I just call up local white. Hello, Becky. Come on, drive this. Okay. And
come on.
Everything's fine.
Then they gonna pull you over. Excuse me, white boy. What are you doing with 55-inch rims?
Right. Yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying. When we're
get a rental.
Walter Miller said that Lizzo is very talented. We all agree on that, Walter.
Absolutely.
I think so. And I also agree. He also said that she knows what she's doing, and she's doing what she has to do, and she's winning. I do, but it's always gonna be any kind of talk when it comes to Black people in the whole. It's always gonna be a whole bunch of differences, and especially if you full figure. We can go down the line. You too short, you too tall, you this, you that, that. We can go down the line. You too dark. You too dark. You know, you like
you ain't
dark.
ghetto enough.
Yeah, we can go down the laundry list of things.
Right.
You know,
Right.
How that goes. That how we scrutinize forever.
Right.
About everything.
And it ain't just Black people. Anybody that's doing anything, there's always gonna be somebody to say something about it. It's somebody talking about
they
you
ain't
right
say
now.
nothing when Kirstie Alley got big.
What?
And she thinks she all that because she got a podcast. Trust me, somebody saying that.
When that girl Kirstie Alley got big,
they gave her Jenny Craig. They gave her a lose weight deal.
That was even worse about Aries' statement. He gonna sit up there and talk about also, man. They
he said what?
He also said they clamoring around her, and nobody is telling her about her health, and she's unhealthy. I mean, but what I'm trying to say
don't look healthy.
But what I'm saying is, your friends. When do friends really, really like? We don't be talking about people's health like that. Most of the time, people bring their health up to us. We don't just look at our friend. If I see my friend running out of breath all the time, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna be like, "We don't know that But for him to make that statement, he don't know that she doing that. I understand.
No, he don't know.
And I feel you on that. He don't know. And obviously, she ain't that much out of breath. The girl get out there and dance. And
she ain't out of breath. She fine with hers. I'm saying if I had a friend that I thought something was wrong, I would say something to them. Excuse me, when the last time you've been to the doctor? You need to go to the doctor to say that. And that's what we need to do. When you see a friend that's sick, or what they normally like and they ain't like that, you need to ask questions.
And I agree.
How you do it? They could be depressed.
Nobody said nothing to R. Kelly for years, and he was clearly sick. And so people don't say stuff to sick people. Why are you?
The yes man don't, but you got to make sure you got some of your true people around you. Somebody said something to R. Kelly. He didn't want to hear it.
Lizzo is sexy to somebody in this
show
world,
is.
and she
better believe it
she should be. She should be the sexy singing starlet that she want to be.
Because I tell you what, I guarantee you, if Lizzo was 105 pounds, she wouldn't be the star she is right now.
But look,
they already got a Beyonce, because they need that big girl.
Because talking about gay people is out of bounds, we now just gonna pick on big Black women. Like, that's what we going to. Like, I was raised with big Black women all around me, big size Black women. I love big size Black women. Them been my favorite people. Them the people who comfort me through my whole life. And how dare Aries? He from New York. He got raised around big Black women too. He obviously come from a big Black woman. Look at his size. So how dare you bastardize something that's a staple?
I think Aries just wanted some attention.
So I see what he's doing, and in all kind of ways. And I'm just like, yo, I'm not about to sit here and turn on what we call big Black women because I'm somewhere in Hollywood. Look, man, that's what raised me. That's what comforted me. And that's what's in all of my storybooks throughout slavery, throughout segregation, throughout the fights with segregation. It is Big Mama who helped me. So I'm not about to sit here and clown Big Mama. I'm not. I see that.
He was irrelevant
when he made that statement. He was irrelevant. If you wasn't 15 years old, you didn't even know who Aries was. You wasn't around for no Mad TV, so you didn't see him. So people who never knew who Aries Spears was now know who Aries Spears was. So it was also, I think, something to get a little sizzle on him.
And then he talking about her health. He know all these projects and stuff you do. When you do these big concerts and stuff, you got to get physicals because there's so much money to insure you.
That's correct.
You got to get physicals to do this work. So she getting checked out somewhere. She not doing these arenas and all these big old stadiums and stuff, and don't nobody know about her health condition.
Right. The only time we get to see big Black women is the last time was in a movie called like Precious or something. Like it.
You saw a whole.
Can we make it beautiful? Is that bullshit? Can we make it beautiful?
Big black women from the beginning of time.
From the beginning and making fun of them. And
From That's My Mama to what's happening now. The big black woman has always been what
been the staple. So
the entertainment business has portrayed us. They always got the mammy on the show. And I'm sorry, that's how I see it. That's ever since what was it?
But at least they got more respect for the mammy than every movie,
Melanie. Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind.
That was a black woman maid who they dogged for playing mammy. Our people dogged her.
Of course.
For playing that role.
When's the first
Oscar? We've been showcasing big black girls forever. I don't know about it as far as the singing. We still supported Aretha Franklin at 350. So I don't get that.
But Aretha Franklin will give me 350. You can't put her in there, man, because she be 350, and then a month later she be 150. See. So you know how Riri came out small, went fat, go on a binge diet, lose weight, get fat. I'm talking about somebody that's just a chunky monkey from the door.
Well, see, again, if you could find a picture of Aretha Franklin with her cheeks out, it would be a great.
We can't hear you, Mel. You muted, Mel.
You heard? You want to find a picture with Aretha Franklin with her cheeks out? Is that what you said?
No, I'm saying if you could, that would be. Remember, we talking about the what of soul? Aretha Franklin is who?
The godmother queen.
She's the queen. Okay. There's no picture of the queen's cheeks. That's the equivalent. That's where that's the question. So that's what I say. This is just on arguing and we talked about it last week. You know, I'm a fan of big chicks, and especially as I've gotten older, I like a full woman.
So I've seen all your girlfriends. I will definitely. I've seen them. They all thick chicks.
You gotta see the most recent. That
the 300-pounder. I saw her.
No. And I don't even want to put it out like that. But she's a beautiful girl. She's just thick. You know what I'm saying? And that's nothing wrong.
And it's somebody for everybody. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
What I'm saying is we can't call it the queen. You don't get a comparison to the queen if you don't move like a queen, which is the problem with that term now. Remember, most of the time you hear I'm a queen, it's like, yeah, your areolas are showing. Remember, if you want to be a queen, you got to move like a queen. We keep every dude ain't a king. What's up, king?
Right.
Your draws are showing. You have never seen the king's draws showing.
Yeah, I guarantee you, if Lizzo's ass cheeks wasn't out, we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
No, and that's the thing. I think that is the reason for the discussion. I know
it ain't even about her being a big girl. It's about your ass cheeks.
By any stretch, and it's okay that you can be sexual,
and it blew up.
That's all I'm saying.
You can be sexual.
We talking about her.
Everybody. You can be sexy with all your clothes on,
and you can be sexual
and
have them
be talking about her like you said, man.
Yeah, you can have her.
But that's the point I guess I'm making is it just was a business move. It really was a business move, and it was a good business move.
What business does she need? She's got a show, Big Girls, Lizzo's Big Girls.
We talking about when this happened. This ain't happened last week. You know, this happened a while back. What we talking about? This happened on some years in her come up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that Laker move is 2-3 years ago.
Maybe about 4 years ago at this point.
Yeah,
but she's trying to come up. Yeah, she's trying to come up at this point in her career. She's an artist, I think, that people know and are aware of. I wasn't, but we old school, but they are aware of her and they know who she is, and she's trying to come up. And then she make this move, and they say it's marketing and it's attention.
Right.
And that's really what she was trying to do.
Right.
But she accomplished it. She did it.
She wasn't attention she thought she was gonna get, but it was some attention.
She got a lot. It propelled her.
Oh, I know. It gave her. I mean, she went viral, but it wasn't all good.
Yeah,
but
it just wasn't pleasing to the eye.
She was hurting. She was on the internet talking about how mean people were in the comments. So everybody wasn't supporting her.
This father of sociology I was talking about earlier from the 1920s, Edward Bernays. Well, the first thing he did to show the government he knew what he was talking about was caused a big reaction in society. So what he did back in the 1920s, right before the 1920s, women did not smoke cigarettes, and a damn sure, at least not publicly, right? It was no. So he got about 4 debutantes, made them put on mini skirts. That was also a faux pas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sit out in Times Square during like the Macy's Day Parade. Told the media that they'll be there, and they're lighting Liberty torches. They called the cigarettes. That's what he called them, Liberty torches. Well, anyway, they sat there with their miniskirts. When they lit up the cigarettes, all of the cameras clicked. Boom, 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 boom. It was in all of the major newspapers. It was a big taboo. But 2 things came out of that. 1, women started smoking cigarettes. So the cigarette companies' money went up 50%.
Triple.
The point, right. So the point is, if you cause a spark, be prepared when your name go everywhere to start cranking out everything out of your machine after that. Everything you got, all your movies, all your stand-up. That's what Cat Williams did. When the spark hits Cat Williams, he just started cranking out everything he had.
Aretha Franklin, Walter Miller said Aretha Franklin carried herself very dignified and would never be caught with her butt cheeks out. Absolutely.
Correct.
But Aretha Franklin came up. Aretha Franklin
in a different time.
A whole different time.
The same time that Tina Turner's legs became famous.
Right.
There we go.
But also, you didn't see any other people but who, like the little TV or the little radio, let you see.
I get that.
Go back to the thing.
Real quick.
Let you see any and everybody.
Hold on, Mark. Mark, real quick. Let's go back to the Liberty torch. So they put the girls out with short skirts, lit the cigarettes, and the cigarette business went big. Well, we find out somewhere in the last 20 years that they knew then how addictive and destructive it actually was.
And caused cancer.
Which is why Philip Morris has to pay for the don't smoke with the tracheotomy commercial. Because they knew when they called the media to take that picture that cigarettes was going to kill 1.5 million people per year. They understood.
I think the cigarettes was more natural then than when they started putting additives in it to make you want it even more.
So
like glass.
So you're saying my point, because now you're saying that they added the additives after they took the picture. Well, I'm just talking about that flame is not always, you know what I mean? Sometimes it burned the whole forest up. You know what I mean?
And for the record, Aretha Franklin would show some cleavage.
I think
she would show some cleavage.
She ain't had no, but I'm just saying she would do it of her time, is all I'm saying.
Right. The titties was out.
Yeah, she showed them titties, and she showed that cleavage. But of her time, that's what was acceptable. In Lizzo time, you can do whatever they do.
You can do whatever now.
Right? Yeah, Diana Ross wasn't walking around looking like what Beyonce looked like.
No.
She didn't need
when
to.
she was the it girl of her time. You know, she was the it girl. That's now Beyonce is the it girl. They wouldn't walk around. And she was, once they saw, everybody started putting on naked clothes. Once they saw Beyonce doing it. So it just became what they did.
But we live in the future now.
In the
we live in
2000s.
like a Arnold Schwarzenegger movie or something, like
We
from
do.
the future. You know what I mean? Like where everything is we here now. We here.
Yeah.
We're in the future.
Oh, listen.
What we know is what the future.
Like one of them Michael J. Fox movies, Back to the Future.
Going back to the future, right.
We are in from where we came from. We are now living in the
man. I grew up in LA.
Stuff, you know.
I grew up here, and I would go to the museum on the weekends. They had the phones like the Jetsons that you could see. Now we can do that. We doing duos and Zooms and StreamYard.
Come on.
Well, we can see and talk to each other. Wow.
Which, by the way, Mark was talking about those laptops that happened to just be prepared for the kids at that time. I look at Zoom and StreamYard like that. I know this technology was out before the pandemic, like this long, but as soon as we all had to be tucked and sit in our own home, boom, we could all be on screen together at the same time. And I find that really peculiar.
It was
amazing.
In line.
Yeah, it's like y'all got the coronavirus together. Y'all got the StreamYard together. Okay, well, Wednesday, right after the game, shut everything down. Yeah.
And you ain't got to waste your gas going to drive to the studio. You sit in front of your house, finish your joint, speaking of, and then do your StreamYard.
That's right.
But all
And I'm
four of us
gonna,
love that. All four of us love that because we had black and white 8x10s. All four of us, guaranteed.
yeah, we
Come
did.
on.
We did.
Once upon a
So
time.
so you know, I don't know. I in that situation with Aries and Tiffany, hey, I just wish them well in their situation, and we'll see once it all play out. I don't never put the people guilty before.
I'm hoping that it all works out, please.
I hope it
what
work
you
out
doing?
in their benefit. You know,
Right.
hopefully that it's all a lie, and you know,
All the
No, it ain't no lie.
I ain't
That
saying
ain't
it's
no
a
lie
lie,
seen the
but
video.
we seen the
think
video,
they-
but it's you know, hopefully it just work out for them. I don't know what.
I just hope it work out. I see a money grab coming, of course. They suing financially, and they also, civilly, and they also criminally.
Yeah,
So,
criminal
I don't
charges.
know what happened. She said the girl been trying to extort her for years. And then I saw a video with the girl at one of her birthday parties. So I'm like, okay. So I'm sure once they get to court, we'll all find out what's happening. But
yeah, but
yeah,
when they get to court, it's not going to be if the girl was trying to extort her. That will never be the main evidence. The main focal point is going to be, did you do these specific things?
That's the focal
right
point.
And that's right. That is in the context of the law, all of that about what Trezay did and how she is, that's absolutely
irrelevant.
Irrelevant to the point of, did you drop off, did you this, that, and that, and that's
did you get in the bathtub with?
Did you? Right.
But I just like to let people have a day in court, however
gonna have
it turn out. You know what I'm saying?
However the mama ain't gonna be the focal point. The mama ain't gonna be the focal point of that case. So they can talk. You say that in the streets, yes.
Yeah, but that ain't gonna be in the court. No, they only gonna go by the law. And what?
Well, I'm just gonna send a little prayer up to Tiffany, because she is like, to me, if they hadn't been coming after Aries, she's collateral damage. So because they was coming after Aries, they were trying to find some dirt on Aries, and that was the deepest dirt they could find. They said, this is gonna get this nigga back, which it did, and just Tiffany happened to be a part of it.
Collateral
for whatever reason. So hopefully they can take it all and get it all cleared up in court. Everybody can get back to working again, and that's the prayer. I want everybody that's winning to continue to win. There's enough room for everybody. I'm not the one. That's what she get. There's people doing that shit.
I don't wish that stuff on nobody.
That's horrible.
Like because with those allegations, you know, you can live down any kind of allegation. But when it comes to rape and pedophilia, that even if your name is cleared,
right?
Even if it's a situation where the people gonna say it every time when your name come out, they gonna say, "Ain't you a pedophile or something?" I don't care. Your name can be cleared in the situation,
and people will say stuff like, "You got away with that."
When a person pick this thing up and type your name in, and it's gonna come up. We have a friend in comedy who did a roast with a famous person, Mr. Jamie Foxx. We all know who the other person I'm talking about. Well, anyway, whenever you Google his name right now, that video is the first thing that still comes up. And I think that's 20 years later. So to prove your point.
I tell you, we had a comedian, I don't know if you guys remember, I'm not going to say his name, that was accused of rape. Yeah, he had raped some college girls or something.
That's what they said.
He on TV. He got a TV show. He on somebody. I seen him. He on show. He working.
He beat the allegations, but still in your mind, it's still gonna come up when you Google his name.
But what I'm saying is, when you get ready to go for any type of job in Hollywood, they are Googling you and they checking your social media. So they trying to make sure that nothing gonna come back to haunt them later, because they'll come after ABC. Like when they didn't like what Dave Chappelle said about the gays, they came after Netflix as well as Dave Chappelle. So they trying to make sure they got all their T's crossed and their I's dotted.
Remember, they went after Kevin Hart for a 10-year-old joke.
Right.
Right.
So
they'll find him.
It's a dossier on everybody. It's just that your dossier is digital now, so it's easy to reference.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I had a good time with y'all. We had a great conversation.
Always.
Y'all was the bomb on here. We always had good conversation on here. So y'all tell them where they can find you. Give them your social media handles and tell them where to come see you. Because on here we encourage everybody to not only enjoy my guests on here, but to support them outside of here because they true to the craft and they funny. So Mel, we're gonna start with you and we're gonna go ahead on around.
Well, I'll tell you what, you can follow me on social media at Melanie Comarcho. It's Comarcho. Melanie Comarcho on all platforms. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Follow me there and you'll see where I'll be. Now I need you to go to Tubi TV. If you got $3, you can go over to Amazon and watch my movie, Boosters LA. You're going to get a whole bunch of laughs and a couple of messages in there too. You're going to see all the funniest comics in the country and you're going to have a good time. Right there, that's right. Mark and Gerard are in the movie and Gerard's scene is hilarious. Okay, wait till you see. And so is Mark's. Everybody did cameos and they all brought their A game. So support a sister. Support a sister.
Please do. Go ahead, Mark.
Yo, this is Mark Prince in the building. Please check me out on childsupport.com. I am right now, I'm the third dad from the right in the block space, kind of like where I'm sitting right here. I'm the third dad. And I want to say out there to the ladies, I'm trying to make it to the #1 dad on childsupport.com. So I'm going to need y'all to call in and vote. I know I got some kids out there that I don't know about. So call in to the child support office so I can be #1 in this. I need your support out there. I need your vote. So, come on, man. Together we could do this, right? We're a family.
Absolutely.
But you can follow me on all social media right there under that green thing. At the Mark Prince right there. I'm everywhere.
G?
That's right. Again, I'm at Gerard Guillory on everything, just Gerard Guillory on Facebook. Based in some recent events and the last part of our conversation, some of my schedule has cleared up, but you could always find me every Wednesday right here, Dominique and Friends, sitting in this box right here, the #1 dad on the show. I just got to go work on getting some kids to make that be the truth. But thank y'all so much for joining. Always
that thick chick you met. So hey, there is
that part right there.
We appreciate y'all.
Hips.
We appreciate y'all being with us. We're here every Wednesday with funny guests every Wednesday and great conversation. We're going to laugh. We might cry, but we ain't going to lie. That's one thing we're not going to do. We here every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as usual, be here or you know the rest. We'll see you next week.
Give it up to that lady.